guys get ready to get into this game. Let's do it right now. Let's see what these two teams do want to pick. As you mentioned before, Adagio banned out by Hunters, Glaive banned out by Invincible Armada.
And those will be the bans for both of our games tonight, not just game one. So teams sticking true to those, and Invincible Armada. Some interesting hero hovers right now.
Wine going for Celeste. We have not seen him play this kind of Crystal Power jungle.
I don't think they're going to do it, Valdez.
Yeah. Would have just been interesting, you know, with the Glaive ban, maybe they were going to go for that very poke-heavy composition, sitting in the back lines behind a very tanky roamer, but it does seem like they're not going to go for it.
Yeah, and we could just see the return to Ringo. Seems likely that both of our laners will be picking Ringo this evening, but it will be Catherine and Ringo locked in for Armada. And there's the Taka. So pretty expected, I would say, composition from Invincible Armada. They like to have this single target assassination potential, a lot of early game presence. And with the Celeste and Catherine, no surprises here either from Hunters. I expect that Ringo to come in, as both teams are not going to be deviating, going with their standard strats. It's game one of our last semifinal here in the Vainglory International Premier League on OGN. Hunters versus Invincible Armada, and we're seeing what we expected from these teams. Nobody taking any risks yet.
Yeah, this is very straight up, as you said, very expected picks. We were thinking maybe Arden instead of Catherine. McQueen has played both of them pretty much equally so far. And Rune, I mean, he gets his Adagio banned out. The only other time he played the roam position, he used Catherine. So probably his second pick, and he does pick it here for game number one.
We talk about Invincible Armada too. They love these single target damage compositions, and that's their threat here. They're going to be very potent in the early game. Very fast gank coming in. Godfather might be caught out. He's going to have to get back with that twirling silver. Looks like he will fall back in time. Queen coming in. Does get stunned on the advance by Ruin, and they'll just back off out of lane.
Yeah, very interesting kind of gank there from Invincible Armada. Generally, they like to let Sangho just do his thing, set up a bunch of scout traps. But I guess going for the Catherine this time, they can be a bit more aggressive in that lane. Look for a gank on a Ringo, especially before he does get those sprint boots. So not a bad idea, but Godfather was playing very safe, so it's good for him. It's
also hard to do that, honestly, before you get level 2 on Ringo, considering most players take Twirling Silver first. So unless you can initiate with the Achilles shot slow to set up the stun, not sure how successful that was going to be, but they do get a little bit of HP off of him, even if it does delay their jungling, and they force Hunters to respond. Hunters now coming in for a little bit of a jungle invade right now. Queen going to check a bush, but a couple camps taken away.
You can see the very slight advantage that Hunters does get by that failed kind of gank. Just a very, very slight lead in those gold minions. 13 for wands and 10 for wine.
Very nice trading there, but Godfather had the chance to go pick up his 6-star from the neutral shop as a result of the early aggression that failed, really, from Invincible Armada. So he wins that trade against Sangho, and Sangho forced back to base to pick up a 6-star of his own.
Yeah. This game of Vainglory, you can do so much damage to your opponent so quickly. So if you were even slightly out of position, stuff like that can happen. You can be burst down to about 5% health, and you're going to be forced to go back. And we do see already Godfather taking a slight lead because of it.
Absolutely. So Wands getting a lot of time in the jungle. He's managed to grab a level lead over Wine so far. Scout Trap will be popped by Ruin, and they're going to back off. Queen getting another trap in the Tri-Brush. So they're playing quite aggressively against this Taka early, so they've been having success too.
Yeah.
Godfather just keeps getting down there at the right times. He's been pushing the lane and moving down to that neutral shop to deny Invincible Armada's aggression.
Yeah. Also, just you begin to see the benefit of that Celeste pick in the jungle. You can clear the camp so quickly that they can get to the shop first and begin to poke just a bit with that Celeste using the Heliogenesis and the forward brushes. And it gives you a lot of control in that jungle if you can clear all the camps very quickly.
Certainly, and Godfather still just keeping the pressure on in this lane. He has a level edge. He has an item edge too. He's found some windows to shop in. So Invincible Armada playing on the back foot early. And this is really going to help out Hunters because Invincible Armada, sure, they're great at picking off carries, but in the late game, the burst from Celeste and the zone control is going to be absolutely massive. And they just have, I think, a little bit better scaling.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you there. Definitely like the Celeste pick over Wine for that very late game for sure. We've seen Invincible Armada play from behind. I mean, they're not too far behind at this point, still only about 500 gold here, but we've seen them come from behind many different times, so I guess it's kind of weird to say, but it's a bit of their comfort zone where they do play from behind and just kind of play passive for a bit here in the early game.
Yeah, and they're very good at exploiting opponents' flaws, right? If we think back to the wild card match, we were saying it was looking like Beyond was going to absolutely take that game, and they had the Taka. Here comes a fight though. Ruin going to come in, and they're not going to steal the gold miner. Will go over to Hunters. Can they get some damage? There's the Solar Store, damage across 3, and where is the follow-up coming through? Heliogenesis not going to land. First kill of the game will go over to Hunters, and they're going to turn around. Invincible Armada finds themselves the target of the turret dive. Queen will fall to a turret shot, but that's a 2-for-1.
You can see that power spike once Wands and that Celeste hits level 6. And he lined up, I think, all 3 heroes as well. Yep. So Invincible Armada was smart to back off at that period of time, right after the gold mine did go down. Oh, boy!
Tension Bow is done, as you can see for Godfather. That was another major factor in that fight. Tension Bow finished first onto Godfather's Ringo, so they knew they could take it. Got the gold miner, and it's looking very good for Wands and the rest of Hunters. But as I was saying, against Beyond, we did see something similar, Valdez. And you know what? They really delivered when it came to playing that Taka late game.
Yeah, look at that. You do see the Solar Storm hitting all 3 heroes. Invincible Armada were on the run. Unfortunately, Wine does get hit by that Achilles shot.
And then just a quick tower dive. Queen goes a little bit too deep, but you'll take that trade. And there are Gangstars here tonight to scout their opponents in the final.
Yeah, does make sense. If they weren't here, actually, I'd be surprised. And so Hunters, I mean, they're a very smart team. Looks like another team fight may break out here.
Yeah, well, Invincible Armada, they've got to wait on their power spike now. One Tension Bow done for Songho, but they need the other one onto Wine. And the question is, can Wine get into the back lines? Because he's managed to do it in situations where I didn't think he could on Taka. And here we have a gank. Godfather going to get hammered by the Tension Bow. Kill goes over to Songho. Good gank by Ruin. A little bit too far forward for Godfather, and that'll be another kill on the board for Invincible Armada.
Yeah, and if you did notice, guys, the awkward Solar Storm flying by about 5 seconds after the gank. Maybe predicting a bit of a turret dive there, but that's going to be on cooldown now for 80 seconds here. And I'm sure Invincible Armada are going to try to take advantage of that.
Yeah, very long cooldown. They're going to walk into a host of scout traps in the brush, clear out a couple. Mini Candy down on the gold miner, so it may be a little bit difficult to fight this one. They're going to start stacking up by the neutral shop, just in case. And there's the box onto Wine.
Wine's got his Tension Bow as well.
And he's going to come through. Queen takes a lot of damage, has the shield on, though. Scout Trap's getting dropped in the brush. Here comes the X-Retsu onto Godfather. Ruin coming in. Hellfire Brew gets a nice AoE, but can they finish the kill? Yes, they can. Songho hitting at range, using the vision from the minions in the lane to finish the kill.
Yeah, that was a really nice team fight there. And uh-oh, Queen getting a little bit too far ahead, going to go down instantly.
Yeah, mistake there from Queen, just sort of face-checking into that brush with 3 still up. Wands may try and deny this, but I'm not sure he's going to. Wands now going to get hit by a scout trap, and Wine will clean this up. X-Retsu for the kill.
Yeah, I think Hunter's just getting a little bit too flustered here. They really wanted to keep that gold mine, but when you have barely any energy there on the Celeste, you're alone. You can't face check their Queen, your Catherine, but you didn't have your shield up. You're going to go down very quickly, and so they're kind of just giving kills away now to Invincible Armada.
Right, and you know what? You just give that gold miner up. You don't have to take it. If you're Hunters, all you have to do is sit back and build armor. They're a single damage type composition. You should have an edge in the late game. Don't fight when they're powerful. Solar Storm going to smack Songho. He's got to be, well, fortunately Godfather's ult is down, so there's not going to be a follow-up there, but that's dangerous. And we didn't even talk about that, but the Ringo Celeste ultimate ranges are absolutely massive. So when it comes to late game fights, it's really easy just to open with those abilities, poke out the enemy, and then take an objective.
Yeah, that's a very good point. You know, something you may not think of when you first look at this composition as well, but definitely going to be big here. Also want to point out that Sangho went for a weapon infusion right before that earlier fight did break out, so Invincible Armada was really banking on that one fight to work out, and it did very well.
All right, so another fight coming in right now. Juan's the target. Wine already in the back line, but he's going to be the first to fall. Juan's manages to kite it out right back under the turret. Now Invincible Armada on the run. Sangho trying to stutter step this. Godfather getting low, but he uses that reflex block. Sangho will die, and there's the Hellfire Brew, so they will trade, but Ruin is going to be the last member falling. The question is, can he wait? Can they not get an ace? And they will not get it. Wine comes back up in time.
Just barely, and there is a minion candy here. Queen, you know, she is near full health, but that's going to be pretty close, actually. Queen taking a lot of damage, and Wine coming back now, looking for a possible follow-up kill.
Yeah, you see, but the gold mine will be taken, 120 each, over to the members of Hunters as they stay in the lead. Wine coming in, he wants to delay the recall, he's going to get it. There's the kill. Just a hair too late on the recall, so Wine picks up another one. He's going to grab some of the jungle while he's at it.
Yep. Really nice play there. Knew that they weren't going to get the gold mine, but might as well try to pick up some kills and invade your enemy jungle as you go for it.
Wow, big gold. Those minions have been sitting for a while in the jungle. Now Ruin in the mid lane trying to help out Sangho. And it's been a very back and forth game so far. And Sangho just going to get caught and obliterated. There comes Wine, though. He picks up one under the turret and manages to sneak out with the help of his sprint boots.
Yep. That's the power of Wine. When you have him on his team, he knows exactly when to go in, and he knows when he can secure a kill. We saw earlier on in that very critical team fight, one of the first ones we had, that Wine, you know, he delayed, he waited until Godfather got to stay a hair too far forward. Then he went for, you know, his big combo with both the tension bow, the weapon infusion, goes in at Xeretsu's, gets in, goes for a chitin as well, and just does a huge amount of burst damage in those team fights to the squishy heroes of the enemy team.
Yeah, and I really like how Wine plays because he has such a great sense of, like you were saying, when he can go in, the extent. He knows his limits on Taka extremely well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Taka as a hero is quite squishy himself. I mean, you do go for a reflex block pretty early with Wine's build, but outside of that, if you do get caught out and you can't go into Kaku and your teammates are not following up, you are going to go down pretty quickly.
Well, there's just a lot to account for. You have to know where their scout traps are when you box. You have to know what the enemy's cooldowns are because one crowd control can just end your engage onto the back line. So it's a lot of patience and a lot of calculation that goes into top Taka play. Sangho's still going to take a little bit of poke here from Wands and Godfather. Very annoying, the combination of the Achilles shot into the Heliogenesis. Again, very long-range poke. And Wines decides it's time to fight, so he will start this one off, gets stunned immediately. They went into the Tri-Brush, but Godfather on the side. There's a big Solar Storm. Godfather going to run out with that Twirling Silver, but Juan's the new target. Wine trying to back off right now, and Godfather going to get killed before he can actually finish channeling that Hellfire Brew. So we are going to trade 1 for 2 in favor of Invincible Armada. And Minion Candy got to stay away from that Gold Miner, and Wine decides just better to get in the jungle right now.
Wow, that fight went on a hair's edge there, man. That was so close. And Queen, if she did have her cooldowns up, I think could have maybe even taken out both of them, but unfortunately they were both down. And, you know, that fight was very close even after Sangho and Wine spent a bunch more money on 2 more weapon infusions. And they did both go for a tension bow, as we said before, so definitely trying to get a huge advantage early on in this game, but they are only 1k gold ahead.
Yeah, and the armor stacking's beginning on Hunters. 2 members already have some form of armor. They're going to try and sneak out this gold miner right here. They've got the trap set up. They're going to get the payout, but can they live? Wine in the front, and he's going to fall. He will pay for it. The rest of Invincible Armada should be able to escape this one.
Yeah, they are going to run away. It does look like Hunters wants to follow up, but it's going to be pretty close. Sangho going for an ultimate here. Is going to be caught out. Rune taking a ton of damage as well, and the Solar Storm taking out Ringo.
Wow, they give up the ace and they give up a turret, so the gold lead swinging right back over to Hunters. A little bit aggressive on that engage right there. They may have thought that since Godfather's ult was down, they had a chance, but they're instead going to give up 2 turrets. and a couple of kills. So big mistake here, and Hunters will take the gold lead once again.
Yeah, we're really beginning to see that scaling start to come online even now. Even with just a broken myth and some armor items picked up on Hunters. We were saying it before, these teams are very close in skill, and Hunter's looking in a fantastic position to take this first one.
Yeah, let's take a look at this one again. Songho opens with the Hellfire Brew. He wants to just kind of poke him off, but it doesn't go well.
Yeah, and that's a fantastic call also to go for the Solar Storm onto Ringo instead of the Catherine. Catherine was going down anyway, and so the follow-up there with the Solar Storm for Ringo was a better choice.
So now Hunters pressing their advantage, trying to get into that enemy jungle, trying to maintain some form of control and get this gold mine. That's a great core collapse, gonna catch Wine. Their target selection spot on, but Wine already in the back lines. Wands getting a little bit low. He is boxed, but he's flared as well. Can they take him out? No. Godfather going to be the first one to fall. Songho manages to grab the back line, and Invincible Armada do it again. They're going to actually pick up the ace this time around eventually. Queen out of energy and out of time, and that's going to be the ace.
Yeah, that's really just the strength of Wine once again. He was so low, but just so calm and collected as well, going straight for that Celeste, really pushing him out of that fight there. And this is exactly what Invincible Armada needed to come back into this game. This turret will give them the gold lead.
Yeah, just tanking that turret straight up with the Catherine shield, and they're roaring back. Godfather now poking as he can and trying to pick up a few of these minions. Kraken on the map now after 15 minutes. So we'll see which team can take it. It's been an extremely close, extremely dynamic game so far.
Yeah, the gold exactly even at this point in time. 15.9 to 15.9 thousand earlier on there. And with that Kraken up, definitely going to be looking for maybe some team fights here. In here, want to set some stuff up, get some scout traps down around that area. So far, it looks like Hunters just have the slight advantage in terms of vision around that Kraken.
Indeed, so Invincible Armada still lurking there, waiting in the tri-brush, just making sure they have some backup before Ruin pokes his head out. And everyone starting to head down around the Kraken right now. Ruin all by his lonesome. There's a flare in the brush, but they're trying to bait it in. Queen just gonna walk straight in there, and Ruin getting down, getting that stun onto Godfather. Nice silence onto Wands in the back line. Here comes Wine. What can he do in the back? He's getting low already, but there's the X-Retsu, and that's going to be the first kill of the fight. But will Songho fall right now? Queen right on top of him. Godfather going to get the kill, and they may have another ace right here as Invincible Armada gets chased down, and that is 3 kills for Godfather and an ace.
And another extremely close fight there. Celeste, just barely able to get off the Solar Storm right before she went down. But, Godfather, as we were saying, stacking that armor, has now a metal jacket. He just was not going down in that team fight. Stacking a bunch of piercing spears as well. Kind of an interesting build here. But with that, Ace are going to pick up the Kraken, it does look like.
Yeah, they are slowly taking that objective, but looks like Invincible Armada resigned to their fate. But they have to do more with this, right? If you can't just take the Kraken and send it straight into the enemy, because if you don't take a turret, you're going to end up actually losing net gold on the proposition. So they're going to start to group up right now. Fortunately for Hunters, they've got great poke.
Just got a shot there of Queen. She was just fearless in that last fight. She charged into the bush. I guess they have a feel in this game where they're just like, we are far enough ahead in terms of our composition where we can just force fights right now.
Yeah, look at Godfather. He's even got a crystal infusion for this Hellfire Brew. Just, whoa! It's a lot of damage. And they're trying to front load on this turret just to make sure that this Kraken can do as much work as possible. They want to poke Invincible Armada out. There's a large minefield of scout traps, though. Queen's going to have to go through. Gets the stun onto Songho, and the silence. That's not going to be enough, though. Godfather trying to get to the back line will take out Songho. They're playing aggressively. Wands now on the back, trying to follow this up. Wine low. Wine not going to fall. Godfather takes a turret hit, so there's still 2 up for Invincible Armada. They get a turret, but this isn't really going to be worth it unless they can get 2, and I don't think they're going to.
Yeah, they're too low, just on health and even energy on Godfather at this point. It was really fantastic to see the confidence with which Hunters engaged into that team fight. You saw Queens once again kind of just going all in, trying to land, the big ultimate, get the big silence off. And just the follow-up at this point from Ringo and Celeste is quite spectacular. Celeste right now still really only on a Broken Myth, still no Eve of Harvest, but has picked up an Aegis as well. What do you think about that pick, especially going up against a double weapon power carry team in Invincible Armada?
I don't really know what to think about that, Valdez. Certainly an interesting selection. Maybe, I guess, I don't know.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know.
It's something that we do rarely see against this kind of composition.
All right, well, Queen coming in again. Songo off on the side, kind of isolated by himself, but here comes Juan. He's going to get onto Juan's in the back line once again. Songo trying to kite for his life. Core Collapse will hit them. There's a big Solar Storm nailing 2. Juan's now low. Juan's trying to kite. Juan's will go down, but not before another ace for Hunters here. They're going to take it. They don't have a good minion wave prep, though, but I still think they may be able to finish this one. Queen should have the tankiness.
It's going to be very close. I think they should be able to. We're nearly 20 minutes into the game, so the death timers are quite long. And now 15 seconds left on Ringo.
Yeah, that one turret very low from the Kraken already, so just one remaining. Queen will be low. They've got 9 seconds before Songo comes up, and they're going to get the game. So game 1 will be going over to Hunters. A very action-packed game. 34 kills in under 20 minutes. Oh, Songo, can you be the hero right now? And with this big minion wave, I gotta doubt it. Godfather's still doing a lot of damage. Songo getting in there, though, and it's getting close, but the Vein Crystal will shatter. Hunters wins game 1.
Yeah, just barely able to close that one out. But as you said before, very, very